You may not be losing yourself. You may be realizing that the version of you who survived that last chapter cannot lead the next one. A lot of people are moving through a very odd identity shift right now. The people that you once felt connected to, they feel very distant to you. Or maybe the goals that you used to have, those no longer excite you. Or conversations that you used to have, those are just exhausting and they feel so super artificial. And the version of you that you may felt so familiar with may no longer even feel real. And that can be deeply uncomfortable because we're taught that growth should feel exciting. But transformation, when we go through these changes, it often is so disorienting because before a new identity is allowed to fully form, this old one that you have has to stop making sense because a lot of the identities that we used to carry, they were not created from truth. So they were created out of survival. You became the strong one because nobody else was dependable. You became the quiet one because speaking up created that conflict. You became the caretaker because love felt conditional. You became the achiever because being productive made you feel valuable. You became the independent person because people felt dangerous. And those identities may have protected you. They may have helped you survive those experiences that you didn't have the tools yet to process. Those survival identities, those become the cages that we are stuck in. We cannot continue living inside of them long after this danger has passed. Something new has to come into the system. And that's why this new period that we are in feels like the internal now is unraveling. You recognize the truth about who you were and who you are becoming. And when that actually happens, the old role, it begins losing its grip. You may not want to be the person who ultimately understands everybody else. You may no longer want to keep trying to prove your worth. You may no longer want to carry relationships that only functioned when you remained small, when you were silent, when you were available, when you were forgiving or convenient. You may even feel guilty for changing because when you stop performing a role for people, and especially people who are accustomed to it, they may accuse you of being distant. They may accuse you of being selfish. They may accuse you of being difficult or different. They may be right about one thing because you are different. That doesn't automatically mean that that is wrong. It just means that you're finally becoming more honest with yourself. And that's also why a lot of this past is resurfacing. Old wounds, old relationships, old cycles, unfinished conversations, they often return whenever we are preparing to close an identity cycle. And it picks up on that. And all this drama starts happening. Remember, something returning doesn't always mean that it needs to be restored. Sometimes it returns to see if you are going to abandon yourself in the same exact way. Sometimes it is actually a test of whether you have changed, whether they have changed. Do you still accept confusion as connection points? Or do you still mistake inconsistency for depth? Do you still over-explain your needs to people who ultimately are ignoring you? Do you still believe that you have to wait for love indefinitely for somebody to choose you? This next version of yourself cannot be built with the same self-abandonment that created the last one. That is the real shift. You are not only changing what you want, but you are also changing what you are willing to tolerate. You are changing the way you speak, even to yourself. You're changing the way you respond when your body tells you that something is wrong in the background, okay? You're changing the amount of access that people are going to receive from you when they refuse to offer any type of clarity, consistency, or respect. That doesn't mean that you have to make any impulsive decisions and destroy your entire life overnight. It means you need to become more honest with yourself and what is ending internally. You do not have to force this new version of yourself into existence. In fact, it's just going to grow as you get older into this life. But you do have to stop constantly reviving the version that's already complete. You think it's not complete, it's already there. You just have to match it. You have to let yourself outgrow all of these old dreams. You have to let yourself question all of these commitments, these old commitments that you had. Let yourself grieve the people who you thought would come with you on this next journey, because they indeed are not. Let yourself admit when a new chapter no longer is following in line with who you truly are authentically inside. What no longer is a reflection of yourself. And most importantly, letting yourself become unfamiliar. Because when we step into the unknown, that is when the transformation takes place. And it often feels like you are losing yourself before it feels like you are coming home. You are not being asked to find the way back to your old self. You are being asked to stop abandoning yourself into who you're becoming. The old version of you is not failing, but the work that you did, it simply just may be finished. Now you're on to the next chapter. I'm Starr, your galactic guide. Let me know in the comments if this is you and you are going through this transformational period, this identity shift, because it's a bright new horizon just for you. Follow for more.